It seems like I got nothing to do. Hit up Sim Standard Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you on the field. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K. Just listen for one day. They'll grab you and you'll say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with Sim Standard Radio.
What up, folks? Welcome back, man. Sim Standard Radio. We're happy to be back after the holidays and all of that. You know, we got kind of tied up last week, and we didn't even get a chance to let everyone know that we wouldn't have a show that Thursday. I'm sure a lot of you guys figured that. But, yeah, we took off for the holiday. Hope everyone had a great, happy, and safe holiday. We'll be back, man. We got another great show for you tonight. You know, continuing with the same theme. We're just going to have two quick topics. We'll discuss them. And then after that, you know, hopefully we'll open up the phone lines. And it's funny, though, because ironically, since we've done that, we haven't got a ton of calls. So it's almost like we have to end up being long-winded anyway to keep the show going. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. You know, first and foremost, we want to thank Jive Turkey for the great intro. And we'll go ahead and get started with Smitty, man. Definitely, Smitty, I know your Lions are playing tonight, man. So let us know how your week was, holiday, and how you're currently feeling about the Lions that seem to be on a little bit of a streak.
Yeah, the Lions are streaking. You know, right now, the coaching change-ups and everything, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time to really pan things out because we don't even know if these guys that are here right now are going to be here come next year once we actually get a GM hired and everything, you know, and all that. But I can say that this guy, Cooter, you know, I don't know if his name is Billy. I think it's Billy Ray Cooter or something like that. He is doing a great job with the offensive. Yeah, there you go. Jim Bob Cooter. He's doing a great job with the offensive coordination right now. So he's playing to their strengths, and he's putting Stafford and these guys in a position to succeed. And that's the key thing. Like, if I'm pretty sure if he was coordinating at the beginning of the season, Lions would have a legit record right now. Like, we'd probably be like 9-2, 8-3, something like that right now. So, you know, and then because Terrell Austin, he's doing his thing in terms of playing, you know, coaching the defense up. So he's done a great job there. So, I'm not really too pressed about that. But you see how when the offense is clicking, the defense comes out there with more swag. They come out there with more of attitude, and they're playing, you know, like they're all playing as a unit. Like they're trying to come up as a unit on the field in terms of their performance. So it's not like two separate performances there. So I like that. As far as Thanksgiving, you know, I definitely enjoyed being able to chillax, and just that's really all I really did. You know, my wife went, you know, and took our daughter visiting and everything. But me, I just, just wanted to chill out and relax. So I definitely got to do that a decent amount of time. But that, you know, I wanted to touch on something else here. I mean, you know, outside of the football aspect here, and I want to talk about this dude, Kobe, real quick. I'm not going to be long about it. I just want to be, you know, make some brief points here. I know that people say that, you know, this is his farewell tour and all that stuff, and they're saying that, you know, like he's the closest thing we've had to Jordan since Jordan, but I got to strongly disagree with all that. And the Kobe that we're seeing here is the same Kobe that we've seen for basically the better part of 10 years. And basically since Shaq had left, he comes out, chucks up nearly 30 shots. So I would say between 20 to nearly 30 shots, doesn't make many of them, and he's heralded as this great star. You know, he's a great scorer, but no way in the world would I put him up there as, you know, like, yo, he's just this great all-around player, like on a level of a Jordan, because Jordan commanded respect. He commanded that out of his teammates. He got into fist fights with teammates. These dudes don't even respect Kobe. When they broke, like I'm pretty sure people that seen when he was on Jimmy Kimmel last year, those guys, they won a game, breaking a 7-game losing streak, and they acted like they just won a championship. And when you're doing that kind of stuff and Kobe is on your team, you don't have that much respect for that guy. And at the same time, nobody even want to play with him. So why is it that you have all these people that don't even want to play with Kobe? So if you got guys that don't want to play with Kobe and you can see the respect level is not commanded on that team. And look, they gave Philly their first win, and it was a good part of it was because of Kobe. And that doesn't have nothing to do with Father Time being on his back. That's the kind of stuff Kobe been doing for numerous years. He breaks plays, he does what he wants on the court, and people just give him all kudos in the world like he's this guy. I'm like, no, he's a great scorer. But there's no way in the world that I would put him up there as a Jordan-esque level kind of player, other than the fact that he tried his best to copy his moves. That's it. But all in all, he's a good player. But this is the thing to think about. You've had multiple players, and they said it on ESPN back then, a few years ago. Well, no, like last year, I think, or 2 years ago, they said that he didn't. There were players where their players' agents would come up and say all these different things about how they didn't even want to play in LA. They didn't want to play with Kobe. And then when I look at players like Josh Smith, he came here when LA was clearly better. Had a better situation, and he didn't even go there. He came to Detroit. You had Carmelo Anthony that chose to go back to New York, where it was worse at that point, instead of going to LA. And then you had LaMarcus Aldridge, same deal. And then Greg Monroe, he chose to go to Milwaukee instead of going to LA or New York. So this, you don't have players do stuff like that and turn away from playing from such a quote unquote great player like that, unless there's something that just ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to play with a guy like Kobe because Kobe is more of a detriment to the team than he is an asset. Other than putting butts in seats and scoring, he'll score points, but he's not truly winning unless you have a couple superstars play with him. And that's why I say, like, it's too blown up in terms of how great he is, quote unquote, in terms of being on that level of Jordan-esque. Now, is he an all-time great? Yes. He definitely is a Hall of Famer, but he is not a guy that I would put up and say, yo, at the end of the day, like if I had to pick a team of starting five, he would be somebody that I would consider in that starting five. Or even if I had a team of legends, he would be somebody that probably wouldn't even make the squad because of his style of play. It's a detriment to the team instead of a help. So just wanted to speak my piece on that, a little bit about Kobe there. At least that's how I feel about him. But I'll go ahead and pass it on. I'm sorry to be long-winded about that.
AC, definitely tell us how your week was, your holiday. You want to respond to that, please do.
I actually agree with Smitty somewhat in that Kobe is a great scorer. I think he's one of the best scorers we've seen. I wouldn't put him up there with Jordan in terms of Jordan's impact, because anybody who saw Jordan actually play know that they're a different type of player. Kobe, copied his moves and patterned his game after him, but Jordan is a different type of player. Like if you were doing an all-time great team, Jordan has the shooting guard spot locked down for me. I wouldn't put Kobe above him. I've seen some people, go positionless and try to put Kobe in there, but he doesn't make it up there for me. He doesn't beat Jordan. And it's not because Jordan has more championships. I think that Jordan got to see, if I don't become more of a team player, I'm not going to win any championships. He started to become more a team player, and when he did, that's when the championships started coming. He trusted his teammates. And to a fault, as Smitty said, you see Kobe, and Kobe doesn't trust his teammates as much. And when he did have, if you give Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, I think he could have won 10 championships. So, that's neither here nor there. We can argue this all day. But, my Thanksgiving went great, fun just to, kick around and watch football all day. I love Thanksgiving and Christmas when, the games start early and there be games on all day. So I enjoyed that, hanging out with the family, eating, just having a good time, playing games and all that kind of stuff. And the Titans are streaking too, streaking in losses. Another loss that we could have had, playing a tough Raiders team that, has arguably improved vastly. And we got to talk about officiating, man, because,
oh, my God,
I don't know. It's just my belief. But, all right, the Titans, if anybody saw the game, were winning the game. It was fourth down, and the Raiders threw to the end zone. It was incomplete pass. And it's still on the Titans because they had chances after that to stop it. But it was fourth down. They threw an incomplete pass in the end zone, flag on the play. They called holding on B.W. Webb, which is like a free agent corner signing. Sim, you know who that is, that we signed.
Oh, yeah.
Who's actually been playing great. Like I said, the Titans' defense is not the problem. We do have corner and, secondary issues. But we out there playing with third and fourth string corners, and the defense is still playing great because the front seven is doing what they're supposed to do. Casey, Morgan, Arakpo, they causing havoc. So, but they called holding on B.W. Webb. Excuse my son, he's having a little tit for tat back there. But then after the game, the next day, the official said that was the wrong call and holding should have not been called. That call essentially cost the Titans the game. And I don't know, it's just my belief, but I'd like to see calls like that. If that's the case, even though, let's just say it was the last play of the game, then if that was the last play of the game and the game was won like that, then that win needs to go to the Titans. If officials in the NFL go back and determine that, there was a wrong call, that win needs to be rewarded to somebody else. So that's just my feeling on it. But the officiating has been horrible in the NFL this year. Lopsided officiating as well as bad calls. So I don't know, man. We'll see. But other than that, it was great. And now I'm just rooting for the Titans. If they're going to stink, I want them to be the best stinking team in the league, and I want them to get that number one pick. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. Same with me, man. I love the Thanksgiving. Being able to watch football all day is great. And just to speak on the Kobe thing real quick, see, this is the reason why, like, I generally don't get into those kind of conversations too often. You and your boys sometimes will go back and forth, but I'm talking about, like, generally, like on Twitter and all that. Because this is the thing. This is how I look at certain things. I've learned as I've grown more wiser that everyone has a different perspective of seeing things. So, like, when I see some people say Jordan and Kobe are similar, I don't know what they're comparing. If you're comparing stats, okay, Kobe probably do got some stats that, he's right there or even better. And Jordan probably has some things as well. If you're talking about championships, Jordan has 6, Kobe has 5. But in terms of the type of player, then, yeah, that's a whole different thing. So that's why generally, I don't even waste my time jumping into those conversations because everybody has a different perspective. And I hear people always try to compare them, but no one never really says what they're looking at. Basically Smitty told you exactly how he felt and the perspective he comes from, but most people don't do that. Most people just, Jordan and Kobe is as good as Jordan. LeBron is better than all three of them. Yeah, but what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion on the Kobe period, I would judge him based on production, if it was me. I don't know what type of player, I mean, I know what type of player he was. What I'm saying is I don't know his personality and people not respecting him and all. I mean, it's a lot of players that was like that. But if I was to look at him just on what he did as a basketball player, you got to put him up there as one of the greats because he has the numbers. You know what I mean? But that's as far as I would go. Like you said, Jordan got it on lock as far as the number is. The shooting guard is Jordan. I don't think there's enough. Just like right now, everybody is saying it, and I've been said this. People thought I was crazy when I said it last year. Steph Curry, best shooter I've ever seen, period. I know I haven't lived all these years, but I'm talking about looking at film and just knowing basketball players. He's the best pure shooter I've ever seen, hands down. That's just my opinion. Now, is that to say that some people now are saying he's the best basketball player ever? Nah, I don't know if you can say that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you can say he's the best. You understand? But he's a great player, great shooter. But, I think Smitty would appreciate this. When you start talking about the greatest and stuff like that, there's a lot of intangibles that you got to look at. But I can't disagree with what Smitty or Azor said. Obviously Kobe was that type of guy. Him and Shaq had his riffs. I will give him credit for winning championships when Shaq left, when he decided to be a team guy. As far as now, I don't know if I would be as harsh as Smitty saying the last 10 years. I don't know about the last 10 years. But lately, he's become this high-volume shooter. And obviously now, when his legs and stuff gone and him being older, it just ain't working, bro. It ain't working for you. But, I would put him as one of the greats. I don't know how high. But definitely numbers-wise and production, you got to give him this nod for that. But real quick, man, as far as the Steelers, moment of silence for that secondary. That's what I've been saying all year. I don't know, man. I'm glad to see. I am so happy. Let me announce this because I had already did the Terrible Towel Tuesday before I heard this news that Tomlin said himself that now they know it's time for some type of change in the secondary, and Brandon Boykin make it a shot. And what they're thinking about doing is moving Willie Gay back on the outside. Because the thing is, and for you Steelers fans who are listening, this is what I argue with my father-in-law about all the time. Because y'all know these fans. He's one of those fans that think we're supposed to score on every drive, shut down every defensive play, allow only 2 yards of total offense for the other team. He's one of those fans. He's screaming at y'all, I don't understand why Boykin ain't playing. I'm like, okay, let's just reevaluate this. I know we all passionate fans, but there's a reason. You got to trust these coaches. There is a reason. So I found out the reason, y'all. The guy, Ed Burchett, I think I'm saying his name right. He's one of the dudes from Pittsburgh. He's always, he does the columns and all that stuff. Inside information, and this makes sense to me, but basically they said that this is how it went. Cortez Allen was going to be a starting corner. We all know that on the outside. All right? Now, what they were thinking about doing is keeping William Gay inside because William Gay plays great in the nickel. He always has. He's had problems on the outside. Last year, he played well on the outside. Not enough to where they thought that he was going to be the top guy. So they wanted to play William Gay inside. Then they didn't want to have 2 small corners on the outside. So that's why Brandon Boykin didn't get a chance. Ross Cockrell came. He grasped the concept a little faster. They went with Cockrell, and then you still have the one small corner on the outside being Antoine Blake. Now, y'all have heard me say on this show and on the Terrible Towel, why don't they put Gay in the slot? Put Gay outside, move Blake in the slot, and then it'll be Gay and Cockrell if they're going to do that. Or let, Boykin come in and play inside. That's what I've been screaming at all year. And as we all see, Antoine Blake is not a cover corner on the island. He can't do it. I love his tenacity. I love his aggressiveness. That's a slot corner. He's undersized. Most of the time, the smaller receivers are inside. So, long story short, Coach Tomlin feels like that Brandon Boykin is primarily a slot corner. So that answers the question as to why they never tried him outside. as well as they said they didn't want two small corners on the outside. So kind of makes sense now, but I'm like, okay, I wish y'all would have figured this out 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, Antoine Blake has just been, oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, he's made plays. He's got a couple picks. I won't knock him for that, but y'all know football. Y'all been watching. If you've seen those games, he's not the guy. He's too small, and he's just not a cover corner. But anyway, last thing I'll say about that, and then we'll get into the topic. Pittsburgh, again, guys, is one of those teams that I said it. I don't know what kind of team we're going to be this year. Offensively, I don't think nobody can stop us now, especially seeing what we did to Seattle. Nobody. Because go ahead and try to cover Brown. And then try to cover Martavis Bryant. Guess who else? Marcus Wheaton showed you, oh, yeah, don't forget, I can play too now. I just don't get all the balls because we got AB out there. I don't think there's a defense that can stop the Steelers. I don't see it. Not this year. But can we stop anybody's offense? That's going to be the problem. And being a real fan, I would say it right now. If we get to the playoffs, we ain't going that far. So I'm almost in the reverse of Azure, because now I'm like, y'all going to keep on playing yourselves until too far down in the draft. We're going to end up being like the 26th pick or something, because they're going to win some more games, might even sneak their way in the playoffs, and then we way down at the list. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, y'all. I'm going to keep rooting for them. I'll tell you this, and then I'll pass it to Smitty. We'll jump into the topic. They cannot lose but only one more game. If they don't go at least 10-6, they won't make the playoffs. I don't think it's going to happen. So that gives us one more game to call for. And we got Indianapolis this week. Still got to play Denver. Got to go to Cincinnati. Even though the Ravens and the Browns aren't playing that well, we got to go to them for the last 2 weeks. Ain't going to be no easy win. So we'll see. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get into the show, man. We definitely got 2 solid topics, and we've been wanting to talk about them for a minute now. I guess, this show gives us a good opportunity to do so. First, we're going to talk about Madden NFL Live, the show with Maurice Jones-Drew, and I know Ike Taylor has been on there and a couple other guys, a couple Madden-wise guys, as far as guys like Problem, which a lot of people know who he is if you're a competitive player. Guys like Tweezy, I've actually had a chance to meet Tweezy actually down at EA, cool guy. And basically we want to talk about that show, man, and kind of talk about what they do on the show. And Azur definitely wanted to talk about this. So, I think I know where he wants to go with it. I know he's going to be in and out on this show because, he has some family things going on tonight, so he may not make it back on. So maybe we'll switch the topic around. Hopefully we can get him back on. But, yeah, we just want to talk about that show, give our thoughts on it, and kind of, break down how it's interesting how they're able to play the game and then break down plays as they do so. Very similar to what we've been accustomed to doing on our YouTube channel. But anyway, the next topic we want to talk about is the functionality difference between NBA 2K16 and Madden NFL 16. And maybe we'll jump into that topic first, Millie, since Azur dropped off for a moment. But we want to kind of talk about, which game do we think performs better as far as functionality. And let me set this up before I throw it to Smitty. We're not saying that Madden or NBA 2K is the better game. That's not what we're debating. What we want to talk about is just from a functionality standpoint. And you can even include live if you want to throw that game in it. But we were talking about NBA 2K and Madden because we all know those are the 2 prominent games that all of us mainly talk about. And we're going to share our thoughts on which one we think actually functions better. Again, Smitty, we got to say this 1,000 times, and we get accused of saying stuff, and, our words get twisted. We're only talking about the functionality difference, things like the stability online and consistency of what the game offers. How consistent, based on the features, does the game play? We're not talking about which one is better and which is in a better position or what have you, even though I know part of that will slide into the conversation. But there you have it. So we're going to go ahead and get started, man. And I'll throw it to you first, Smitty. So definitely, just give us your thoughts on it, man. Which game do you think does a better job at it and why?
Well, it's definitely Madden to me, and I mean, honestly, if you just let the product run for itself, you could tell that it definitely is Madden over 2K. And the reason why I say that is because, I mean, when you look at stuff like the wideout DB interactions, the passing, the O line D line play, the zone play, the man defensive play. Like when you can play a good number of snaps, and it's not like every single play or every single possession you're like, I mean, there is funky stuff that happens on, going through the possessions, but all in all, I mean, we were going over it. We were going through it, ourselves, trying to figure out sliders and everything when the game first came out and all that, trying to figure out a slider set to play the game on for the league and everything, or just in our own, on our offline CFMs and everything. And we're coming to conclusions like, real talk, we really don't need to tune any sliders because the game is giving us a lot of consistency out the gate. Like it gives a legit challenge, in terms of the functionality, like the blocking and all that good stuff. You've seen it play out to a honest extent, like in a good way. And I mean, yes, does it have its problems and shortcomings? Yes. Like you still have players that are tethered to their zones to the point where they really don't stretch out. And now, mind you, I'm talking about without the patch. Okay, so I'm not talking about post patch and all that jazz. I'm talking about before they did the patch and you had the D-line play enhanced and all the zone coverage and the man coverage enhanced and all that. I'm talking about beforehand. So, like, is the game as open as it needs to be, as loose as it needs to be, or I say organic as it needs to be? No, it's not. But we saw we saw things opening up, like, we want to see trench fighting be a lot more of an organic trench fight. We want to see, same thing with the wideout DB interactions. We want to see that be more of an organic event instead of it being tethered, because it still has that win-loss kind of feeling to an extent. Instead of it being the DB is going to try and punch the ball loose, but then I'm going to go for this high point aggressive catch. And instead of it being organically playing out, it's like, this animation sequence got to play out. So there are things that need to be done in terms of getting the game to where it needs to be going forward. But outside of that, you get a lot of consistency in the gameplay department. Now, did you want me to go into 2K? Why I feel the opposite of that, or just say, okay, all right. So as far now, 2K, the reason why I feel on the flip about that, I mean, look, I did videos about this. I did videos showcasing it. At the same time, I said this to OG when he was on our show back then, and I told him that, I love the work that you did, but the problem is the way the AI system is in the current game, it's going to be a hit. It's hindering you. It's hindering what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not working. Like it's going to always make your game come up short. And if you look at, and if anybody watches the videos done by Apex, his channel Truth Chaser Protocol, he has multiple videos where he's literally going possession after possession and seeing all kinds of erratic things going on. And I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that I pointed out. And I'm like, this is happening all game long. You got players being moved out of position unrealistically. You have control loss. You get sucked into animations. You got, you have all kinds of illogical things go on. And when you have these things happen, and this isn't new, and once again, I'm speaking from a point of pre-patch. I'm not talking about patch 3 and all that stuff. I'm talking about what's going on in the game right now. Okay, so I mean, what was going on in the game before, and I mean, even after these patches, the same stuff still is happening. So the problem that I have is that this game, the game can be great, and it has its greatness tendencies. The animations are beautiful, but the thing is, how many years? And this is going off B5 because he said it. He did a video series about it, and I mean, I've heard it so many times. Like, how many years is it going to be of the game almost being there? Because that statement has been ran through so much in regards to the game. It's like, man, if they just do this, they're almost there. If they just do that, they're almost there. If they just tune this, they're almost there. I'm like, I didn't heard almost there since 2K11. How many years is it going to be of saying the same statement? You see what I'm saying? And see, the thing is, the game has the same problems. Like, that's the crazy part. On top of the enhancements they do is great. The defense system and the offense and the freelances and the animations they add, all that stuff is awesome. But it doesn't work properly because how can you have player movement with the steps and everything being fully accounted for when you still got players tethered into all kinds of animation sequences? How is that player movement legit? It's not, And then the game's AI, like what the devs had said, OG and them, they said that when the game came out, they recommend you play the game on Superstar Simulation. I play it on Superstar Simulation. That's where the most crazy things happen at. So it's like. That's what I'm saying. Like it's crazy. So I'm like, so why tell us to play it on that difficulty level and the game isn't even functioning as well as it should on that level? Unless we wait for a patch. You know what I'm saying? And that's another aspect we can touch on that if we have time later. But the whole patch aspect, having to wait until basically November, mid to late November to get the game, potentially get the game that we were supposed to get at launch. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole nother thing in itself. But my main problem is that, and this is the same stuff we say with Madden. We say the same. I emphasize the same thing with 2K. I would love them to get rid of the scripted animation sequences and have organic animations between what the offense does and what the defense does, instead of it being so heavily scripted. That needs to change. And until they change that, it's going to be the same game with the same problems, just, with, I wouldn't say a new coat of paint, so to speak, but it's going to have, a new something or other added in, but it's only going to partially function because of what's been going on before, whatever it is they put in the game was added. So that's basically my feeling in terms of 2K. And I mean, it's basically the same feeling I had for numerous years in regards to the game. And that's why I say it's a good game with great potential. You know what I'm saying? So I'll throw it to you, Sim.
Man, I have a lot of the same sentiments, man. And it's funny because I'm going to say this before I even jump into my thoughts. If you guys are really listening, some of you guys who've never listened to us before or what have you, or even some of you regular guys, you can hear how it's the same argument for both games. Just basically the things that we're complaining about or pointing out in 2K is the same thing that we would have an issue with in Madden. Prime example, you hear me always say, player movement, player movement, player movement. And I say, you know what? I think I want them to get the player movement right before signature animations and all that. Because what's the use in having that? Having these signature animations and all that if the players are still sliding around. And did you not just hear Smitty say exactly that? What good is some of the beautiful aspects of NBA 2K. Let's not get it twisted. I've told OG this, directly. You guys did a great job, phenomenal job on the game itself, but the game has shortcomings that makes it harder to appreciate the beauty. Like, it's stuff I try to do and I can't always pull off. This might sound like a minor thing to some people, but you hear me talk about ball tangibility all the time. And 9 times out of 10, even though I got a video actually that shows it done fairly well, most of the time 2K still has that I like to call it the invisible screen. It's like that force field where you see the hand goes when the ball just shoots out. It's like they're incapable of allowing their hand to actually hit the ball. And, we understand why that happens, but you see other games that get it right a little better, like Live, in my opinion. Live does that better. Most of the time in Live, I can't say all the time, but most of the time you go back and look at the block, the hand hits the ball. It literally hits the ball. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, he did block it. That play I showed with Anthony Davis, I said Anthony Davis showing off his defense. He got a fingertip on the ball in Live, and it was represented correctly. But just to get back to the topic, I would have to say Madden also. Now, here it is, Smitty, for the 4th time. I'm not saying that the game is better than NBA 2K or anything like that. What I'm saying is, based on what was offered, the DB wideout interaction and the passing and the new catching and the trench battle and the physics, the game tackle, all of that stuff plays at a more consistent basis, in my opinion, than when I play NBA 2K. And believe me, I play NBA 2K a ton. I love my league. It is my favorite franchise mode of any game that I play right now. Love it. I even got a little My Play. I haven't done really any videos of that, because when I've done it, people are not really showing interest in it. But I might start doing it again. I love everything about 2K as far as how deep the game is now. But on that court, there's just too many occurrences. And some people might only have one issue to your narrative. What if your issue was just player clipping? It happens entirely too much in NBA 2K now. It didn't happen, in my opinion, it wasn't this bad last year and the year before that. I mean, one-on-one triple situations and half of the body goes through the guy. It's crazy. I've never seen it on this level. And to me, it's not a killer because I still play the game, but it makes you sometimes when a guy drives the lane and he carries his dribble hand through your body, through another defender's body, through his own body, and then he makes the dunk. That stuff right there would make me throw my controller if I was a competitive player, like if I was playing for money. And yes, let's preface this. It is a video game. We know that. We know it's a video game. We know it's not perfect, but there's too many people in our sports community that try to act like certain games of theirs are perfect. So that's why we have to point these things out. And in my opinion, just to sum this up, Madden and 2K are really on the same level in terms of functionality. 2K is probably the better game in total because it does have the beautiful animation. And when it wants to be, it's a fluid game. I mean, it looks poetry in motion when it wants to be. You know what I'm saying? The depth of the game, the My League, all of that kind of stuff, the details, of even the people on the sideline jumping up when you try to shoot a shot, or that over there, they try to, get in your ear, all of that stuff. The crowd, all of that stuff as a whole, probably a better game. You could probably say that and MLB The Show are definitely in that ranking of upper echelon and that stuff. But on gameplay, again, just talking about the gameplay that's in that current product, not what you think they're going to do next year. We're talking about what they have now. Functionality wise, they're not that far apart. That's just my personal opinion. I think what 2K has better right now over Madden is replication. How they replicate things is a little better. It's probably a good amount better, so to speak, but not fully. That's just my opinion. I know I'm gonna get I'm sure people are gonna have something to say about it, but I don't care. It's just an opinion. Yeah. But yeah, and then again, last point. Go ahead, Smith.
No. I was just gonna say, but you have the videos out here. Like there are videos. That's what I'm saying. I want people to see Apex's videos and see how he's playing the game live. Like he has videos where he's doing specific plays, but he'll literally be playing the game and he's stopping almost every possession and talking about something wrong that doesn't make sense to basketball. And that's why I'm saying it's like it's too good of a game to have that happen. But how many years are we going to keep saying, "Oh man, this game's too good to be having these kind of problems and all that"? Like that's my point. And it's undeniable when you're able to play the game live and have that stuff happen. Like the video I did, that was all just one game. That was one game, just a portion of the problems that I had happened during the course of the game, and that I pointed out. And those were several in the midst of the game. So this is why I'm saying, like, it negates what these dudes did. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Sim's talking about. I mean, Sim really doesn't have, Sim don't need to preface and with any precaution. It's as simple as, like, it was a video I did a long time ago. Core gameplay and innovative efficiency. The core gameplay tangibility, and then what you innovated or what you tried to innovate the game with. How efficient is it? Because of the core gameplay, the core aspect of how the game was programmed for 2K before OG and them did what they did, what these guys tried to innovate on, the efficiency is being hindered because of that engine. Right. Because of or how it was programmed. So that's not, like we're not knocking it and saying, "Oh, this game is terrible" and all that. Like, no, we're not saying that at all. So that's the problem, is that the core needs to be tightened up in order to get that stuff right. If they tighten the core up, I already know everything OG and Czar do would be golden. The animations, all that would be beautiful. But that's the problem. It's not, it's not there. So because it's not there, or it's not, it's not as clean as it needs to be, it's going to be a hindrance more than it's going to be a help. So, but no, go ahead, Sim. I just want to interject there.
Yeah, man, and just to add on to that real quick, and all we're saying is we just point these things out, man. We're not afraid to say what do we got to say about any game. It's cute, man, because I sit by and I say cute. Y'all know when I say that. Y'all already know what I'm really trying to say. It's so cute to watch people, and I'm not even talking about the norm community. I'm talking about in general, just people. Like, I look on forums and stuff. It's so funny just to see so many avid sports gamers and they don't address some of these things. I'm like, there's no crime in loving a game and the game has problems. There's no problem. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no crime in that. I've said here openly on the show, I love my league, time playing 2K, but there's things that frustrate the what out of me in that game. I got to point it out, and I have to talk about it in hopes of it being improved. That's just it. And it hurts me because being in a gaming community and being somewhat of a voice that, people have given me, because I never self-imposed that, it hurts me to see people just ignore stuff like, we need more people to acknowledge the things that are not, quote-unquote, sim in the game, so we can get games that we want. Because if you don't, you see which communities win. You see what community
Right.
gets all the love. And that's what all of this is about. It's not about a preference or what somebody prefers. It's about being real. If you're a basketball fan, it should be just like my man Czar's statement. Don't play video games, play basketball. And if that's what you've been worrying about, you should be able to look at 2K and say, wow, y'all really need to fix this, though. I love your game, but this got to go. And that's all we're doing. That's it. And, last but not least, I know people were trying to make the comparison to Madden. But once again, Madden is going to come up. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can agree with me when I would say I look at an MLB The Show and an NBA 2K and those games, I expect a little more out of them because they have been in a better position much longer. I still look at Madden as a game that's finally, I'm looking at it now like, oh, okay. All right. So guess what? You better bring something to the table for 17 because now you've reached the level for me to say, all right, I know you're rebuilding, but okay, you got to hit me with another bang. But that's just how I feel on that. So I guess we can move on to the next topic here. I don't know if Azul is going to make it back, but either way, we'll be able to cover it. Just want to talk about the Madden NFL live show that comes on the NFL Network. I know we briefly spoke on it in the show before, but we never really, gave our thoughts and feelings of the show. But what you think, Smitty, man? How do you feel about the show? And I know I don't even have to direct you. I know which way you're going to go with it. How do you feel about the fact that they can actually play the game and then literally break down those plays afterwards?
I mean, what it does is, number one, it's funny because we would showcase stuff on Twitter and everything and see plays in football, and we're like, oh man, look at this and look at how it's happening in Madden, and make those comparisons. But now it's not like the funny thing is you don't have a panel of just top Madden players and that's it, sitting up here talking about the game and showcasing the game and breaking it down. You got Maurice Jones-Drew up there, and like you said, you've had guests come in, like you've had football players come up there and legitimately break down what's going on in the game, in Madden. You know what I'm saying? So it adds a high level of validity to, number one, to the game, because it's not lip service because they're playing it live. So it's not like it's a recording or anything like that. They're playing the game live. You're seeing the game being broke down, and like you said earlier, it's paying testament to what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're basically doing the breakdowns and stuff for us, and it's like it adds incentive to what we were already saying before about the game. Like, we let you guys know and say, hey, man, look, we're telling you, Madden this year, man, they came through with this, they came through with that. We know it's not where it needs to be, but man, let me tell you, they got that, da-da-da. As soon as like we pointed out, and it's one thing, but when you hear what these guys are saying and what they're showing, it's like, what more do we need to do? This validates everything. Like, you can't deny what's going on in Madden here. Like, regardless of how you may personally feel, like, it's happening here in the game. You know what I'm saying? And you got these guys up here breaking it down accordingly. They're doing what we do, and that's the thing. They're doing what we do, and they're doing it on this live scale. And the bigger part about it is, this is on NFL Network. So, so you got a lot of people that are watching this stuff, man. So, like I said, people can, and I mean, it's not about people denying it per se, but, whether you like what's going on or not, the bottom line is that we wanted football out of this game. We wanted football to happen in this game, and it is happening in a major way. And it's undeniable in terms of what's happening in terms of the football we're getting. And you got a voice, you have a very valid voice in Maurice Jones-Drew. On top of that, you have these guests that come through the show, and they're backing up the validity of what's going on with the game. And I mean, you're seeing the game on screen. And if you pay attention to what goes on in football, like it's you're going to see more legit gameplay. And this is a key thing. You're going to see way more legit gameplay than you're going to see flaws. Go, Cole. There you go. There you go. Good scramble, Matt. Thank you for not staying in the pocket forever. All right, sorry. So he kept tap dancing back there. I'm like, come on, man. They like go ahead and just take it upfield. But I guess he wanted to get Clay to bite a little bit before he went. Okay, that made sense there.
Yeah,
just looking at the replay. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so
I said their defense. Ain't nothing weak about Clay Matthews.
Right. But no, that's basically it, though, man. Like it makes it undeniable. Hold the ball. Thank you. Whew. That's what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? And this is, I'm sorry to go off the track a little bit. This is what I'm talking about. When the team is positioned to succeed, you see how these guys, look at how Stafford's playing. Look at how the blockers blocked on that run. Look at Abdullah. This is what I'm saying. When they're coached right, and this is stuff that I've been saying with conversations with people here in Detroit, talking about the Lions, people saying Stafford need to go and all that talk. When you position these guys to succeed, this is what they can do. You can potentially see this kind of output. So, but I made my point as far as the show, so I'll pass it over to you, Sim. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. That's a good point you just made. I want to comment on that real quick, and then I'll get into the show. I don't think people really know how far that goes as far as putting somebody in a position and allowing them to be what they're going to be. They're either going to be good or they're going to be bad. Prime example, Michael Vick. What did I say when we picked up Vick? I was like, solid veteran, but the offense that we run nowhere near plays into what he can do well. Right? He comes in the game a couple times, stinks it up, trying to sit in the pocket. Not his style. Even when he sat in the pocket in Philadelphia, it was a different offense when he had those good years. What happened against San Diego? They said Ben Roethlisberger grabbed him, was like, look, I'm going to write up this play. We're going to run this. This is going to work for you. He said Mike loves to be out of the pocket. That's where he's comfortable. I drew up the play. I asked him how he liked it. He said he loved it. He ran it. 72-yard touchdown to Marcus Wheaton. That's prime example.
Let's go.
It shows you that's what happens when you put players in the right position, and they're either going to show you that they're still good or they're going to show you that they're not good. But you got to give them the better chance, the best chance to be successful. But, yeah, as far as the show, man, I've watched it a few times. I want to get into watching it more. I'll probably start DVRing them because I forget, exactly when it comes on. But, I mean, what you said is basically what I'm going to say, so I'll just echo that to some degree. It's very funny to me. You know me personally. A lot of you guys who are listening to the show might feel like you know us now because you've been rocking with us for years, but y'all know me. My personality is what it is. I'm the same guy on YouTube that I am in real life for you guys who've had a chance to meet me. In the inside, when I saw that, I'm busting and I'm bursting laughing on the inside. Because I'm like, wow, is this not what we've been doing for the longest time? And I mean, my timeline used to get so bad where I had to sometimes mute people because they don't you dare say that's comparing that to that. I remember back in the first 2 weeks of the season, remember we were saying that stuff? And my thing was, listen, don't forget what we're all here for. It's never about protecting the game, big upping a game as far as holding your pom-poms. None of that. We simply are trying to get the best sports product possible. So if my eyes show me something in the game, I'm like, whoa, I actually saw that happen this week in the NFL. What's preventing me from acknowledging that even if I thought the game was whack? Backbreaker. Backbreaker wasn't a great game, but since I was like, yo, stuff I'm seeing in this joint, I see in real football. I seen that when I was playing on the field. I ain't never seen that in no other game. At that time, we acknowledged what was good about it. You understand? So it always cracks me up when people just, when you try to say anything about Madden, I've even seen it with 2K, because, you know, there's 2K haters as well. Man, that don't happen in the NBA. Oh yeah, it actually does. Like, that's one thing 2K does well. Their teams and the players play like themselves, Jack. They do. Go try to play Cleveland. Go play against Cleveland and watch not even LeBron. Watch what Kyrie do to you. Especially with those sliders. Like, and I got to give Versus a shout out because I built my slider set off of that. Turning like the tendencies and all that to 100. Boy. I'm not talking about the success stuff. Keep all of that on 50, but I'm talking about tendencies, like, you know, how often they drive to the rack and how often they pull up mid-range. Man, do that and play against Kyrie and see what happens to you. They did a great job with that. Like, you better play some basketball, Jack, because that dude gonna come across court and you give him one shot, or James Harden, fuck it. And I love it because they play like themselves. But yeah, man, it's funny, Smitty. That show is just like you said, a reconfirmation of football happens in this game. And I'll throw you guys a small nugget. We always do this. I'm not gonna name names because I don't know if this information is supposed to get out as far as saying who was there. People always say EA don't know what they're doing and blah, blah, blah. Not only do they talk to John Madden every year, do y'all realize that during the cycle there's NFL players that come through? I remember one week last year when we went down there and they was like, "Tag, Sam, you just missed so-and-so and so-and-so from the Steelers." I was like, man, you lied.
Oh, yeah.
Just missed them. Second, defensive players. And I'm like, oh, man. Or, you know who was here the other week? Such and such coordinator was here. They know what to do. Trust and believe that. Clint Oldenburg
and
is
also,
not a fluke. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was just going to add on also, if you pick, take it. Oh, go down. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm watching, I got the game on at the same time. I'm sorry. So, but if you've been paying attention, if you've been paying attention to Twitter at all, you would know Ahman Green recently was down there.
Yeah.
Like what, about a month ago or a few weeks back or something like that?
And followed me on Twitter. I said, whoa. Yep.
Yeah. This is like Sim said, these dudes know what they're doing, man. This is not the same. I mean, we said it many times before, and it's beautiful now that some of them are on Twitter, and you're seeing now what we've been relaying to you guys. These dudes want to get the game there, and they want to make it happen. Get it? Yes, that's 6. That's 6. Yeah, let's go. See, come on, man. Calvin Johnson's done. Calvin Johnson's done my foot. Get out of here. Look at that. But anyway, but yeah, like these dudes know what they're doing. They got coaches coming in. They got coordinators coming in. They're doing, they're putting in the work. I mean, look, Alfred Morris was there with us in the studio.
That's my guy.
Kicking it with us. We was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was there playing Madden. I was there chopping it up with him with CFM and everything. Like, he came in there and spent adequate time playing on, like, one of the early builds of the game. Like, I mean, it was rough, but he was in there with us. Like, he even was there for a feedback session, giving feedback on running back play and all that stuff and how they run and everything. So, this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about. that these guys are doing. And that's why we say, man, look, these guys are making it happen. They're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'm like, it's going to take them time to get it there, but once they get it, man, look out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a mean game on our hands. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
I didn't have the game on. They up 17-0?
Yeah.
Wow. Green Bay. J.P. Davis, if you're listening to this, what has happened to the Cheeseheads, man? It's almost sad to see because I don't know what's going on. Aaron Rodgers, I hate to say
but
this, man.
Yeah.
No, it ain't Aaron Rodgers. But what I'm going to say is that y'all know I watch First Take faithfully, being able to work from home and stuff like that. Don't tell nobody I'm doing that. But First Take, listen, Stephen A. Smith makes a lot of points that I agree with. And Skip Bayless actually said, is Jordy Nelson, now this is going to sound crazy, but listen to the perspective. Is Jordy Nelson part to, you have to give him part of Aaron Rodgers' greatness. And what they were saying is, these other receivers ain't getting open, man. They're not. Maybe Randall Cobb was getting open so much because Jordy Nelson was such a threat. Look at the connection he had with Jordy Nelson. Now, I mean, there's very few quarterbacks in the league right now and receiver combination that they go deep that much. Not being biased, but Big Ben and AB got that kind of connection, and he's going to have it with Martavis Bryant very soon because it's coming. You see it already. But most of the time when it was a deep ball, it was to Jordy Nelson. When they won that Super Bowl against us, who exposed the DBs? Jordy Nelson. Even that play, I still remember vividly. That touchdown he threw to Jordy Nelson, man, I mean, even William Gay made the perfect play. And the ball, and you couldn't have put the ball in a better spot. Who did he throw it to? And you're seeing it. These dudes that he's playing with, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to see them hit a slide like that. I mean, they lose tonight. What's that, 4? That would be the 4 out of the last 5. And it looks like Detroit ain't playing. And Detroit already beat them. So it ain't like they scared. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like they worrying about big bag Green Bay when we went to your crib and beat you. So, well, yeah, man. Last point I'll make, we kind of got off a little bit, but and then we'll open it up for the calls. And right now, man, just to make the announcement, we have callers in the queue. No one really has pressed 1 with the exception of 205 and 757 is on here. So, of course, we're going to bring him in. So if y'all want to speak, this is the time to do so. Press 1. We'll bring you in. If you're listening online, you can reach us at 516-453-9126. But the last thing I wanted to say about the whole Madden devs and all that, like Smitty alluded to, some of that feedback that Alfred Morris was giving was priceless. I mean,
yes.
To be able to ask a running back, it was like, and I think some of us kind of sparked the conversation. We were talking about fatigue and all that. And my man said, honestly, I get more fatigue when I'm breaking tackles. He was like, if I'm just, juking this and that, it ain't that bad once I got to juke like 100 people. He said, but when I lowered the boom and run through tackles, yeah, that's when I'm a little tired. And if I get free, that's when you might see me get walked or something because I'm running out of gas. And that feedback was priceless because the devs immediately like, how can we make that work? And I tell that story to say this. It ain't that they don't know what to do. I know that's a myth, and that's just random, generic people that say that, and rightfully so, they don't know the devs. But trust, it ain't that they don't know what to do. It's what Smitty says all the time. The game has to be built up to that point to be able to do it. Period. Why haven't we seen signature animations in the game yet? What do you always hear me say about player movement? The devs feel the same way. What did Rex say when he came on? Man, we got to get those warps and pops out of the game, right? Now, obviously, he would want to do that before he overloads with animation. So all I'm saying is there's a method to the madness, man. The game needs to be put in that position. What these guys are merely doing is working to get it to that position and then start building on top of that. So that's just how it goes. But, yeah, let's go ahead and get 757 in. After that, we got 205. And after that, there's nobody. So me and Smitty will do some random talking or what have you after that, and or maybe some more you guys will call. So let's get 757 in. 757, man, we got you in live. What's going on, man?
What's going on, soldiers? I've been listening to the whole show. It's been great. I'm going to first comment on the situation with Green Bay. What's going on with Green Bay is, and I've said this before, is teams like Green Bay and New England run a lot of option routes, choice routes. So that's basically dictated by what the defense is running or what the defense is set in, and the wide receiver runs their route based on what they're seeing. Jordy Nelson and Aaron Rodgers had an unbelievable connection with being able to do that. They would call Y choice, X choice, Z choice, or whatever position he was in, whether he was out wide or inside, and Jordy hardly ever made a mistake. What we're seeing is the young boys being exposed by not being in their daggone playbook and not really working hard to really understand what the offense is and what the concepts is that Green Bay is running, and they're suffering. Because now you got to dumb down the offense for them and call a route for them. Now, if it's not open, you're stuck. Yeah. So that's why when you see Aaron Rodgers, he's pumping and he's looking, and it's not there. But Jordy Nelson will run a whip route, he'll run a seam route, he'll find a crease in the defense and sit. Or instead of sitting, he'll run over the top and beat the safety. Those guys aren't doing that. And they're getting killed behind it. That's Green Bay's problem. The choice routes and the offense that they're running, those guys haven't just been in their playbook and really learning the offense. And a lot of receivers suffer from that. A lot of receivers don't do well with running choice routes. I've seen a mini guy that could flat play but couldn't understand the option routes, and they got cut behind it. And we also have a little glimpse of option routes in Madden, and I think the reason why they don't put them in as much as it should be because it'll be a little bit cheesy because you don't have to pick the route. The computer hardly ever makes a bad choice route. When I think one of you guys made a video and the guy ran a whip route and he sat or he's going to run a quick out, those guys never mess up on those choice routes. So that's why part of the reason why they haven't put a lot of them in, because the quarterback, the offense, the computer system wouldn't make very many mistakes. I haven't seen them make barely even one on the option route yet. So I want to talk about tonight is where are we going, right? That's basically the conversation. We've been with Madden 16 for some time now, and we kind of understand what we got. Fortunately and unfortunately, we have no other choice but to compare it to 2K in the aspects of game functionality. How do these two games play and represent their sport? 2K does a great job with animations and sequences that can't be interrupted. I think we haven't gave Madden enough props. The community haven't. We understand it. That what we're getting from wide receiver DB interaction and be able to interrupt those animations for the most part, more than not, is the aspect of offense or defense that we haven't done, especially at defensive back. Being able to decide that you're going to jump for a ball and say, I don't think I'm going to play that, and then switch to square and say I'm going to bat the ball out of his hand and see him physically act like he's going to jump and then at the last second swat it out. I mean, you got to salute those guys on that. My thing is, I understand that I'm a little more lenient with the patch culture than a lot of people are because they're on a crunch that is unreal. We know that Madden should be on a 2-year development cycle. We understand that. But with them signing that deal, we understand that they're on a 1-year cycle and we get it. And it's very hard for those guys to get everything in. But one thing that I'm optimistic about is the fact that this patch was a whole lot bigger than what people realize. For them to be able to almost take a small pause, put those a lot of fixes in that they don't have to worry about so much in 17, as long as they don't break, and then be able to put the slider concept in, which they could have saved for 17, lets me know that they just might be a tad bit ahead of schedule. So what do we want in 17? We have to fix the trenches. If an offensive line and defensive line, that is the game. If you do not have an offensive line, I don't care how good your quarterback is, how good your running back is, you ain't moving nothing without those hogs. You got to have it. We got to do better on defensive line with defensive line angles and how they are attacking the line of scrimmage and attacking the quarterback, especially at defensive end. We have to allow awareness and play rec to actually really kick in, and I'm tired of seeing my defensive line, my defensive end, who got a high play rec, continue to go to the running back. When you see him block and then you see him blocking and then or going into a route when I want him to go upfield and attack the quarterback.
Oh, I hate that.
We have to fit the linebacker. We have to fit the linebacker fits also with linebacker play rec. They're still too slow with pausing with on some run plays, trap, ISOs, off tackles. They still have this second of pause. Let me tell you something. That linebacker, man, you're running full speed somewhere. It might not be the right place sometimes, but you're going somewhere. You're gonna. If a hole opens, our job is to fill it. And when I'm not seeing those guys fill it and take on those blocks as quickly as they supposed to, and as consistently as they are they supposed to. Looking for the wide receiver DB interaction 2.0. We know it needs a little bit tweaking. I want to see, especially safeties and linebackers, when you do not have a person in your space at linebacker or at safety, you're going to squeeze to the closest man. If I'm in a purple zone and I got 12 yards back and I see the running back come underneath, immediately I'm going to attack him because there's nobody invading me to my left or my right. I'm going to my first threat. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the back. And I'm going to close on him now. Now, Sim put something in the game that is still not being used, that is very difficult, because the more I play the game, I'm still realizing there's still so much to learn. It's a concept in the game where you can change any position on defense, D-line, linebacker, or safety, at the click of a button, which is not the easiest system to learn. It's not as easy as everybody thinks to be able to click and then realize, okay, this is my secondary, this is my safety corner, etc. You got to master the tools in which that are there. You have to master those things. I'm also understanding the concept that they're not getting enough props for is fatigue, not necessarily signature moves, but weight momentum matters. The difference between Archer and Bell, I keep telling Sim, I'm not calling him out, but he got to play Archer. He's a weapon. Stop playing Bell so much. Put him in the game. Use them as a weapon. Use all your tools, fellas. We got to use all our tools, all our wide receivers. What does this particular player do well, and put him in a position to succeed at that? I'm looking forward to it because I'm really understanding the fact that they're really working their butt off. And I understand that they're going to reach roadblocks in the process of trying to put something in and something breaking, or trying to add something and it not working.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to get those things and those concepts in there to work, and we got to get living worlds, fellas. I can't let them off the hook with the field and the concept being alive, the grass, the sidelines, the crowd. If I'm playing Sim and he's having to come from Pittsburgh down to Tampa, if I'm using the Tampa Bay, I'm using them for an example, or San Francisco, and the air's thin, or in Tampa it's hot, and he got to play me at the beginning of September. I want that factor for him to be a more northern team and for it to be a little hot, and vice versa for me to have to go to Tampa and go to Pittsburgh and for it to be a little cold. It has to be an advantage. When you go to Seattle, you got to deal with Seattle's crowd. You got to deal with the concepts and everything that you're doing, and you can't take as many chances. In Pittsburgh, when you go there and you're on offense, you can't take the same chances on the road as you can at home. The crowd still doesn't matter. And I don't know how they're going to add it in with the momentum of what it is. And it has a small concept, but it's still not there. If players in connected franchise are getting tired and they're getting worn down because I'm running them too many times or they're taking too many hits, start telling me that. Not let me see my team that look like they're all of their feet are in quicksand and I'm not understanding why. Let me see and understand why this is happening. And I think they're going to do it. I think Rex wants to do it. I just hope that EA continue to give him the resources and to him to continue to take calculated risks and listen to the community and realize this is what we want. Our job is to put out the YouTube videos, continue to talk on the shows, and help them in the direction of the concepts of how to play offense and how to let defense. We'll take that on if you give us if you put together the great game. We'll put together the concept of how football is supposed to be played. We'll take that on. But I want to continue to calculate the risk, and I close with this, and this is my motto. If it's okay for these other games to have a simulation-based game like baseball and soccer and others, then we have to move in that direction of football and almost force people to understand how to read a defense, how to play offense, and really have to lab and really learn it. You have to accept offsides. You have to accept penalties, which I still think that the offside, the pass interference, they tuned it. It's finally getting better. But I was really ticked off right before that patch came out because I said they tuned it down and they should have given us more. Why are they doing this? And then a couple of days later, they fixed it. They patched it. DBs are playing better. Linebackers are playing better. No, we're not where we're supposed to be, but you can tell that they're working their butt off to go in the right direction. I want to see shared technology from other companies. You told us you could do it. Somebody better be flying somewhere to make it happen. Because in honesty, you're running out of time. I'm just going to be honest. You're running out of time with us. We're giving you pretty much a 5-year window. If we're still having these conversations in 19, then we really have a problem. And it's either with the suits or either with the development of the guys that you have in there that just don't have the talent to be able to create what we want. And you don't have to tell us this. The video game will. The Sim Standard will. Because one thing I can say about you guys, you don't pull punches and you really are honest. And that's all that we can ask for. Guys, continue to push this genre forward. I'm looking forward to 17. I'm looking forward to you guys going down there and not really telling us what's going on, but I can hear it in your voice if it's a game changer or not. Guys, I appreciate your time. I am enjoying Neff. You're doing a great job with your rosters. I'm enjoying it. Listen, guys, in the sim leg, if you don't get upset about playing me, I hate it for you because I'm not taking over. I'm going to get on you. I'm going to make you think on defense. I'm going to make you think on offense. And I'm not trying to destroy you or embarrass you, but what I'm trying to do is make you understand what you're looking at and how you're supposed to call plays and how you're supposed to confuse somebody on defense and make somebody frustrated on offense. I appreciate your time.
Man, well, we always appreciate you coming on the show, man. Definitely, man. We always appreciate that. And guys, 757 don't play no games, man. I mean, somehow I was able to get a win against him early in the season. Last year I played him and just, got destroyed. But it's funny because I want to say this, and we both talked about it. Possible tethered animation and lack of ball tangibility could be a reason why I won that game. If you guys saw that game, I threw a touchdown to Antonio Brown in the end zone. I saw him cutting, but I threw it a half second too late. He was in position. Somehow the ball goes to Antonio Brown. So it's those little things like that, man, that has to be addressed. And one last thing I want to mention that 757 said that we're bringing 205, and I see we also have 410 after that. Another thing that he said was about you definitely have to utilize your tools, man. I mean, it's more to be offered in Madden than you think. I took his advice with Dre Archer, use his speed, and I was successful in this last game I played. But what I wanted to say as well was, I know he's going to love this. I still need to see defensive players locked in on the ball. Every position. 757 touched on it a little bit when he talked about the linebackers. But the same has to apply for the D-line. Think about when you watch football. If y'all are watching football right now, you're watching, the Green Bay versus Detroit. Defensive linemen are looking at two things. Their opponent, meaning the tackle, the guard, tight end, etc., and the ball. This is how they know how to go in with preferred direction. They are tracking the ball. The defense doesn't do that in Madden. I have been pounding that topic for a long time. Now we got Clint in here. I've been talking to Clint about it. Again, if it doesn't happen at a certain time, that's not their fault. The game has to be in position. But I want to harp on that because just like 757, all of us agree the trenches now got to take it to the next level. There's more to do in the trenches, but that is definitely a part of it. They got to be looking at the ball. Because just like what 757 said about the linebackers, the DNs also do that. How many times have you seen you got a beeline to the quarterback, and for some reason the DN are just turned? Like, what are you doing? It's like, it's like they're reactive to the pass. Like, why are you doing that? Your sole purpose is to hit the quarterback. So you either going to hit him, cause a fumble, get a roughing the passer, or let off him. You're never going to turn and look as if you're going upfield. And that's what I'm saying. And then on run plays, nose tackles and guys in the trenches, then down inside in the interior, they got to be looking for the running back. But in this game, they're too locked into the assignment. They're locked into whoever's blocking them. Then once you beat that interaction, then they get their head on a swivel. Can't be like that. They need to be always trying to find that ball. That's one of my biggest beefs as well. But Smitty, unless you had anything to add to that, we can go ahead and grab 205.
The only thing I had to say is from what he was talking about was as far as the player fatigue and everything else, that goes into what I was talking about last week with that the player fatigue and injury system that was in head coach. That'd be perfect for it. That lets you know body fatigue, where he's hurt at. Oh, he's got a sore back. I mean, in head coach, they break down everything like, oh, this guy's got shortness of breath. You should set him out for a few plays. This guy, you know what I mean? Like, he's a little bit sore. This guy's winded, or he may be a little bit too hot. Let him cool off for a few plays. You may have to sub out, and when you have stuff like that happening, you may have to sub out your O-lineman, because we all know O-linemen, they ain't nothing to do. There's nothing to do for those guys. They don't get injured. They don't get hurt. Nothing happens. You just sign them on and that's it. But with this system and head coach, you had to look into all that stuff because they could have sore legs. They could have sore arms from contact they've taken, sore back, all that. We need that in CFM. We need that going forward, because then you got to take account, like you said, you got to bring in your backups, and you got to bring in the backup to the backup. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of stuff that I want to see happening in Madden. We need to see that depth, like, to really make the depth of who you sign matter, especially in terms of who you draft. Make all of it matter. So, just want to add on from what he was saying there, but that was it.
That's perfect, man, because, every time we say stuff, it's like we feed off of each other. Like, just to add to that quickly, it has to be a situation like you said. This guy is getting a little tired. You need to sit him down. Prime example, Joy Porter, who is now the linebacker coach. said at the beginning of the season, James Harrison is older. He's not going to start. He's going to average maybe 20 snaps. I want to be able to do that in Madden, and I want it to tell me that. If there's an older guy, maybe it'll tell me after the 21st snap, hey, man, he's not at his strongest right now. You might want to get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? You know, his legs are hurting. He's getting a little fatigued. We need it. Smitty's video, and then I think we both made a video about that has to make it. That's it. He has to be in the game. That injury and fatigue system has to be in CFL, period. So let's go ahead and grab 205. Then after that, we'll grab 410. And since there's only two of you, I guess me and Smitty both can give our quick replies to your questions and thoughts or what have you. So first up, 205. What's going on, man? What you got for us tonight?
Not much, guys. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And how are you?
Good, man.
I was wanting to touch on something Smitty brought up earlier. I watched the replay. I was at work when it happened, but I watched the first take, and it kind of bothered me to hear when they was talking about LeBron being better than Kobe Bryant, and you know how they get in this comparison thing with former basketball players and stuff like that. I'm sorry to tell everybody this, even these people that's younger than me. I'm 34. I've seen a lot of basketball. I went through watching Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and those heydays and seeing the Pistons and all the stuff that they did to people, bad boys and all that. And I seen what Jordan had to go through to get past those guys. Ain't no way LeBron would last with those people. Ain't no way on the face of this earth. If they put him back there with those guys, as much as he cries now, he thinks he gets flagrant fouled. As much as he cries now, ain't no way. Because I've seen literally fights in basketball. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Because, I mean, Larry Bird, he was one of the best at his position. And he plays the same position as LeBron. LeBron didn't fight like Larry Bird fought. I mean, he would get down there for his size. Everybody talks about how he sat back and saw through. No, Larry Bird got down in the paint and he fought with you in the post all day long, all night long, and he would try to embarrass you. That's what those guys did in the 80s. Magic Johnson, he was so loved by so many people, even people that didn't even like the Lakers. Like, I hate the Lakers, but I have to give Magic his credit. Nobody's ever did what Magic's done. John Stockton did things that I've never seen anybody do. I mean, John Stockton would throw the ball from the half court, hit Karl Malone right under the paint. Perfect. Two guys under him. Karl Malone would dunk it on him. I mean, basketball has changed, yeah. People talk about how great it is now. Man, y'all just don't know. I'm sorry. And MJ, he ran. I mean, if it wasn't for MJ, there wouldn't be a World Basketball League. I mean, if you don't give that man credit, y'all are crazy. I mean, he is the reason why this sport has moved out of just, you know, the U.S. and how big it's gotten. Jordan is the reason because of that happened in the Dream Team. And you had Charles Barkley. I mean, people do not give Charles Barkley the credit for what he
One
did
of my favorite
for
players.
his size. And I want to talk about somebody who I think was the LeBron of our day. And that was can't think of his name. It wasn't Clyde, but the guy from the Hawks.
I know who it was. I know who I would say it was. I would say Sean Kemp was very close.
Sean Kemp,
as far as physicality and his size, he was explosive like that.
But what was his name? He came from the Hawks. I think he was 21. Dawkins, I think it was, or something like that. Maybe I
you talking about Dominique Wilkins?
Dominique, yeah, Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah.
He did things for his size that was crazy. For his size, I've never seen a man jump the way he did back in the day. And him and Jordan went at it. I mean, I'm sorry for mispronouncing and forgetting, but I mean, there's so many players that I grew up loving. And I'm a huge Bulls fan, not to even put Jordan in there, but Clyde, he got looked over just because of Jordan, and he was a great player, an amazing player. So I mean, it gets to me when you have these talks. But to go to Steph Curry, he may be the greatest shooter that I have seen. But the thing that gets me about Steph is that he's not gonna get beat up like Kobe has, and LeBron will probably end up getting beat up because he sits from the 3-point line and shoots. He don't have to drive. He's got the slickest shot in the league, so he doesn't have to worry about going inside and getting hurt. So I think he'll have a longer career than some of those guys. Moving on. What I wanted to talk to y'all about was the whole Dreamcast thing and Sega putting out the Dreamcast this year. Go ahead and try to market it before they decide to bring out a new console in 2017. They're wanting to try to see if they could try to get the younger audience to look at some of their games they had back in the day. I think that's good for marketing if you're wanting to come out with a new console. If you're trying to hit the console market hard and you got Nintendo and all these guys, Nintendo's been in the game for a while. Sega used to be my console back in the day. I love Sega, a lot of the games they had. But that was one of the biggest topics I wanted to talk of and see what y'all thought about that. We've already talked about Madden so much, it's almost ridiculous. You can't really compare 2K and Madden anymore because to me they have the same problems. And anybody that tells you any different is crazy. Because 2K has the same problems Madden do. They only hide it a lot better than Madden does, and that's the biggest thing to me. So, but I just wanted to, kind of put that out there, and I just wanted to ask y'all that one question about Sega and see how y'all felt. And I kind of let y'all go, man. Y'all have a great night and great show. Peace.
Yeah, man. I'll be very brief with that and then throw it to Smitty. Great marketing. I have no disagreement with that. And in my opinion, a company like Sega or what have you, they probably still got enough money where it's not going to be a huge risk to do that. And I'm going to say one thing just to put it in y'all ear. You see how companies test the waters when they're trying to do something? 2K ain't doing nothing like that in terms of football. And I'm not talking about offering the game again. I'm just talking about what we've said a million times. Do a survey. Put it in your 2K basketball. Do a survey. See how many people would support. Hey, if you really want to get out support and you really want to see who's serious, do like I said. Ask every loyal customer for $1. $1. And if we raise X amount off of $1 per person, we'll make another game. It's numerous things they could do. And I'm tying it to this situation because, like I said, Sega is simply saying, let's put this out there. Let's see if we can get some of these people back interested. Let them know what we had. Some of the youth now could gravitate on our games that we had then. And that'll push us in and let us know if we're really going to be successful with a console. Beautiful. 2K, I know y'all listening. Come on, man. There's a lot of stuff y'all could do to see if the people, your fans, would support an unlicensed football game with great quality. That's what I think of when I think about that Dreamcast situation. Hats off to them. But what you got, Smitty?
Yeah, no, I mean, basically, I'm with you on that. Like, you got Dreamcast. You got Dreamcast coming out, reintroducing their console. Why not 2K do a survey, like you said? Do a survey or get a Kickstarter going. I mean, like, see, like when we talked about, I know we talked about this a few months back, but I mean, you had what's the guy's name? Spike Lee do a Kickstarter for a movie and say, hey, I'll do this movie if y'all fund it. He could have funded the movie on his own, but he said, no, I want the people to let me know because I'm not going to, why devote the time, the resources, and the energy and all that effort if the people aren't going to be about it? That's all they got to do. Just put that out there, and that will speak volumes in terms of if something's going to happen or not. That'll really tell the tale of the tape right there. But they're not doing anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it can be an unlicensed product because look, 2K just sold well over 4 million copies. It's pretty safe to say. So, you know, you already got that. All right. So why not step up and just say, hey, let's see how people feel and go from there. But I don't know. They want to, you know. Yeah, he down. They want to sit on their hands. I'm sorry, watching the game. They sit on their hands with it and everything, and you know, I just don't understand. I don't understand why not say anything. But I mean, I know we pretty much beat the horse dead on that in terms of 2K doing something to at least showcase, like just to find out and see if people would be serious about it. So I love to see it happen, but who knows what'll happen.
Exactly, man. I think it's just proof that they're not even worrying about it. So that's why you might as well put your chips, your eggs and chips and everything else in one basket, which is Madden NFL, and try to make it the best experience possible. But let's go ahead and grab 410. We're at 23 minutes. Like I said, we have other callers in the queue, just haven't pressed one, and it's fine. You know, if you don't want to speak, we just want to let you know that you can. But let's go ahead and grab 410. We got you in live. What's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? It's Dez.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm chilling, man. It's actually starting to feel like winter out here, man. Goodness gracious. But check this out. Check this out. All right. Excellent show so far tonight, man. Y'all have just been on fire as usual. And one thing, just in the last conversation about hoops, we neglected to talk about all the big men that probably had those errors. That would have made a lot of dudes' lives a lot harder. But I'm gonna digress from that because I love the Madden versus 2K talk tonight, and I love that it's not from the perspective of which one is better. You know, I think that we automatically have to agree that it's apples and oranges to an extent when you're comparing sports games. And I think that the biggest handicap, if you would, that I would always give Madden, and I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt on, is the fact that they got 22 players on the field making contact with each other at some point along the way and interacting with each other. And, you know, I understand that that's a really tall task. You know what I mean? And I gotta give them too many shouts out, you know. I'll give them so many shouts out, you know, over the course of time that it's really no point for me to even do that anymore. But, you know, when we're talking about, you know, where's the game going, you know, where are both games going, you know, I think 2K, you know, I haven't bought a 2K at launch since 2K13. And, you know, I just had to stop buying the game with the servers were just unusable. You know, I remember I lost my player one time who I already got it to like 82 or 83 or something like that, and I just straight up lost him. I think that was 2K14, 15. It was just constant. You know, the online was unplayable to me. Like standing there waiting for God next for like 45 minutes to try to get into a game was just ridiculous. And you know, the game to me was just always broken. But the good, you know, the thing that always saved them is the daggone graphics, the audio. You know, the commentary, just the experience in and of itself is just spectacular. You know, and when you sit down and you play a game of 2K, it's an experience. You know, past the actual basketball gameplay by itself, the whole thing is an experience. It's simulating a broadcast of the NBA from top to bottom. And you know, with Madden, man, like I've never been wowed by the presentation in Madden. Not from PlayStation 1, which is the first Madden that I played. You know, I ain't 30 yet, but you know what I'm saying? I've been on it for as long as I could have been. And, you know, my jaws never dropped from playing Madden. I remember on NFL 2K3 when they brought in the Sports Center in between every weekend franchise, and they had Trey Wingo with the injury updates, and they had Mel Kiper with the draft stock, and it was just like, man, this is 2002. Like, I'm playing this on PS2 right now. And if I had Xbox, I would actually get replays, you know what I'm saying? Not just the little screenshots. My processor was that much faster, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, today, you know, when I go back and play NCAA 14, I'm blown away by the presentation compared to what we get in the Madden. And again, you know, all the big gameplay things that we had on our wish list, they've pretty much all been addressed, you know, at a baseline. And like y'all talking about, you know, it's beautiful now that we can shift our focus to now we got to really improve the O line D line. You know, when legit 2 years ago it was we need to get some O line D line. You know what I mean? And once we got the O line D line, we need some wide receiver DBs. Sim, I went on your page on one of your videos. I'll never forget this. I went on one of your videos on Madden 25, and I was just like, yo, if we get some wide receiver DB interactions, man, we're gonna be in good shape. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, you know, only having to iron out the player movement and the awareness and the IQ. You know, and I look at the game now after the patch, you know, and I don't really know how I feel about it, man, because I've been getting mossed left and right. I've been getting just viciously mossed by the computer. Like just unbelievably mossed by everybody, yo. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I got pretty decent corners and a pretty decent secondary. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know how to use a pick. You know, I still don't. You know, I think that's one thing that I kind of had to get away from, was just holding down the button and not tracking the ball myself. You know what I mean? And like just taking away my user skills that I built up over all these years. You know what I mean? All of a sudden it's just like, nah, throw it and hold the button. It's just like, what? You know what I mean? I gotta let it play out, which I don't mind in concept. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know, I think at the end of the day, man, like the biggest thing that we want to have happen is we want the game to put us in a position to let the player ratings dictate the way that the game plays, and our input into those puts our players in the best situation to maximize their attributes. That's it. Like, I don't care if it has to be canned to a certain extent. I don't care if it has to be, you know what I'm saying, the tether to whatever. If it works, that's all I needed to do. You know what I mean? Now you can blow up a receiver in the middle of a two-man interaction and make him drop the ball. Like, you can do that. Just put a hat on him. You know what I'm saying? It's a good chance that you're gonna break that pass up, even if he's already locked into an animation. You know what I'm saying? Like these little things that we have problems with now, they actually just make me excited, man, because I'm just like, look at y'all. You know what I'm saying? So many hundreds of videos deep. You know what I mean? So many hours of radio show recorded, and it's finally all coming to fruition. So much so, as y'all said, they got a dang on show on the NFL Network. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if we just step back and keep this all in perspective, you know, and I think that's one thing that I really think that the community as a whole, and I've been guilty of this too, is you know, trying to keep everything in perspective. You know what I mean? And I'm the type of dude, man, where it's like, you know, I'm cool with the game, and I bought every Madden. Like, I bought every single Madden since Madden '96, and you know, it's you're not gonna turn me off of the game because I don't feel like it's as big of a jump as it should be. But when we get to December, when we get to February, and we get to, you know, okay, we're this is the game. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool that they did the late patch and everything with such a dynamic shift into the gameplay and the way that everything moves. That's cool, but it's just like, you know, time and time again, the patch culture is not my favorite. I'm giving you props on something that I don't even think you should be, you know what I'm saying, relying on in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And if that's me having too high expectations, then, you know what I mean, put that out there. You know what I'm saying? To the devs, just let us know. You know what I'm saying? Look, this is what we're prepared to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if that's what it is, and that's what it is. But, you know what I'm saying, the worst thing they can tell us is, no, we can't add that, or no, we can't fix that right now. Why not ask? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not bring it up? That's the whole point of brainstorming. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole entire point of brainstorming. And if these dudes who are getting paid all this money to make this game are really getting butthurt because people are criticizing or critiquing constructively, you know what I'm saying, what they got putting out and that we're spending our money on and giving our time to happily, you know what I'm saying, like, then they shouldn't be in this business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, especially in the day and age where the community is so accessible and you're so accessible, And you know, these devs have made it their bread and butter to be accessible. Like that's their thing. We work with the community. So you gotta take both sides of that. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna give you the glory when it's due. You know what I'm saying? And I think that most of the people who are within this sub community of Madden are gonna give even more props because we're looking at it from different perspectives than a lot of people who just pick up the game and say, I want to play with my favorite team. You know what I'm saying? Or I want to buy, you know what I'm saying, all these little packs of cards and do that whole thing. I'm gonna leave it at this, y'all. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about, you know, which one is better or which one, you know what I mean, has the better functionality, Madden or 2K, I think it's hands down Madden. Even this year when they have so many glitches in CFM and so many other little issues that I couldn't stand, there's so many things that I think we could build on. Sim, I watched your video a little bit before I called in about trying to integrate the mobile site. I think that's Madden 18, bro. Because we're talking about, all right, follow me on this last thing. I know you said you didn't have anybody in the so my normal call etiquette is slipping right now, right? Check this out.
we actually got I hate to cut you off, but we may have to get you back, man. After these, we actually got 3 calls out the blue. And I don't want to take time away from them. And what we could actually do, man, 'cause I want to do this a little further, we could actually, you know, if you want to get to your point, we could bring you on next week. And I want to start doing that as well. If somebody really, you know, has some things that they want to hammer out, just give you a time. Because, you know, we're just trying to get this show to be to the right format so it'll work for everybody. Because it's about you guys. And I don't want to miss these calls. So I think it's fair for me to speak on behalf of myself and Smitty. I think let's just say right now, so we only got 12 and a half minutes. Let's just bring the calls on. Call us, you know, be as brief as you can. We'll just hold our responses. And so we can get you guys in. And then possibly if we have time, we'll come back to 410. Or like I said, get you back in next week. All right. First up, 337, then 719, and after that, 407. 337, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I just want to say for that dude that said that he was getting mossed all the time, it's not about just pushing the aggressive catch button or any type of mechanic. It's the timing of when you start to hold the button. Because if you go into CFM and do the training, and it's called ball hawk, if you push the triangle too early, like when you see it, he's not going to catch it. He's not going to catch the interception. And if you wait too long to push it, he's going to over pursue the ball anyway. So that's one thing. And the other thing I want to say is that as far as 2K and Madden being better than one or the other, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I quote that opinion. I play 2K for basketball and I play Madden for football. I'm not playing Madden for football. No, I'm not playing Madden for basketball qualities, and I'm not playing 2K for football qualities. I play the games for what they are, and I enjoy both games just about equally. You know, the fun factor on both of them is the same. It's like I can go in there and play Madden and enjoy myself. I can go in there and play 2K and enjoy myself. And so I'm pretty sure people would probably agree with that. I mean, you can get fun factors out of both games, and I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and that's all I have for today. So.
Great call. We definitely appreciate it. And let me say great call, too, the 410. Man, every time you call, it's always filled with a lot of information. So that's why I think definitely we should have you on one night as a special guest because, you know, you have a lot to say and there's a lot of good stuff that we want to hear. But great call to you and 337. Let's move on to 719. 719, we got you in, man. What's going on?
Pretty good. I guess I got pretty much like an appreciation call because I just want to appreciate y'all doing what y'all doing because I don't have time to like really focus on you know the community and stuff. I work full time, so when I'm at home, you know, I pop the games in. I didn't catch the first half of the show. I guess it was like 2K versus Madden, and I got the same opinion like the last caller. Like I play each game for what it is, but in the beginning of the year, I was gonna boycott Madden. Because, I played Madden 25 and Madden 15 and everything, and, like, I enjoyed the game. But, I don't know if it's just like me subscribing to certain YouTubers and then just getting other people's opinions. And I was like, the game is this. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of true. It's kind of cheesy. And, you was a catch this all the time. But I went ahead and got, Madden 16, release date. And like, it's crazy. I told myself I was going to be like playing more 2K this year, but I've been on that Madden. Like, I'll have to play like probably 20 or 30 games of Madden before I'm like, okay, I'll play a basketball game. But I haven't been playing like 2K repeatedly, and it's not that I don't enjoy the game. I'm just having more fun with Madden. And I don't know if it's just, I think it's just more in-depth play now. Like basketball, you got to run plays and stuff like that. But with Madden, you can get at it in different ways, either like the aerial assault or, running. But I don't want to take up too much time. But I think I called in a couple of weeks ago. And was like, I usually play like maybe 100 games a year, but the game is addictive. Like I think anyone could say. I think it's a lot of people that be talking about the game, but they sitting at home playing it. But yeah. Like I said, it's too many stuff going on. I noticed some things after the patch, like when you throw the ball and they fighting for the ball. Like I passed to my number one receiver, and I thought I was getting ready to throw an interception, but he ripped the ball out of the defender's hand and came down with it. I'm like you said, there's stuff in this game that's never been in any other football game. So I'm enjoying the game. And like I said, last time I called, I was like, I can't wait till they put in 17 because they clean up some stuff. It's not, I'm not going to say nothing is perfect, but I would say out of about 120 games I played online, I only feel like I maybe got cheated, maybe 3 or 4 times, with like a end of the game Hail Mary or something, but it could happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just hope y'all can keep up with what you guys are doing, because I know y'all go down there to EA and give your opinions, and they actually listening. So yeah, that's all I got. And I just, like I said, I appreciate what y'all doing, and keep up the good work.
Oh man, we definitely appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. Smitty said it all. We appreciate you. I mean, this is why we do it, man. I mean, I say it all the time. We can be very selfish, not have a show, not do YouTube, and just keep all that information to ourselves. But it's about the sports movement. Like I said, I shy away from saying community now, but it's about all of us in this movement. We want to keep it going. Now, 407 dropped off. So what I'm going to do, 410, I see you still here. I'm going to bring you back in. We have exactly 7 minutes. So I would say, just leave us at least 2 minutes so we can close the show out. Well, let's get you back in, man, because I know you had something else that you wanted to say. So we got you back in, man. You there?
Oh yeah, man. That's what's up. Oh, let me make my way back out the house so I don't make my girl mad at me talking about video games. She's watching the girl shows. Oh. All right, so check this out, man. And I really appreciate the shout and the opportunity, man. Like I'd love to do that. And if y'all think it'd be better for me to just go about it like that, then I'll let y'all do y'all thing. We can figure it out on Twitter. But dang on, the biggest thing to me, man, is, I complained a lot last year about the stats in Madden, and I think that's a big thing that 2K wins on, and the show wins on, and FIFA wins on, is the way that they track the players' real contribution in the game. Like, if you think about it, like in 2K, and even how they used to have it in superstar mode in football and in old Maddens and on NCAA, when you would get points for, staying in your zone with good coverage, or you should be able to be an offensive lineman on PS2 and, be like good run block, good pancake, this or this or that. Like, I want to see them start to really take advantage of the data, you know what I'm saying? And let them, take the progression system to the next level, man. That's my biggest beef, with the CFM right now, above all things, is the player progression. It's not necessarily about the fact that they got the XP all wrong this year, as far as the amount of XP you have to reach a goal. But I'm talking about, like, I want to see it be not that you rush for 2,400 yards in the season, but you average 5 yards a carry on the season. Or that you average 9 yards a pass attempt, or I Like I want to see it take it to the next level, man, because now, when you go through a season, like it's beautiful now that they added the assisted tackles this year. That's huge, and you can actually hit your extra with a couple a couple of your defensive players. Last year, you'd be having your leading tackler have like 75 tackles, but they had way more than that. You know what I mean? And now it's actually getting reflected, so that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that getting taken to the next level to where, they count first downs on offense like they used to do on the PS2. On the PS2, Doug, you used to get first downs, you used to get hit sticks, you used to get targets, you used to get catches allowed, all that stuff, man. And you see that they counted against the computer, like the catches allowed in the whole nine. And when you simulate your games, you see that. But when you play it yourself, everybody allows 0 catches. You know what I'm saying? This is where I get frustrated with Madden, just like on the flip side, I can get frustrated with 2K. It's all about the low-hanging fruit to me, man. Like the stuff that can shut people up real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, let 2K can come out because they got 14 different categories of advanced stats that you can pick up on anybody. It's a lot easier to do with a 350-player pool. But unless you told me that Madden has maximized the technology on these systems, then I can't accept that it's not in Madden. You know what I'm saying? Indefinitely. You know what I'm saying? And when we talk about an era in sports where it's all about metrics and it's all about the advanced statistics and the pro football focus and all of that nonsense. And I don't want to call it nonsense, but all of that that next level stuff. You know what I mean? That's the stuff that I think is made for video games. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where else would you want it to play out more? Because when you see a team winning, especially with me being a Ravens fan of a team that refuses to win with style, you know what I'm saying? Like, we always have to win ugly for the entire, at least Harbaugh era. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to see the stats. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to see the game. You know what I'm saying? And I don't need, Brandon Williams, the nose guard on the Ravens, don't need to make 75 tackles and get 9 sacks for me to know that nobody is nicer than him on the nose in the league right now. That's what my eyes tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and that's what Pro Football Focus will tell you. You know what I'm saying? And that's I want it to be, to my man 757's point. I want it to be like, yo, we're evaluating how well are you trying to play this game. You know what I'm saying? Like how much are you trying to do things the right way and live within the fundamentals and live within the concepts. You know what I mean? I go back to skills training just about every time I lose, man. Like if I'm like, yo, I threw 2 picks against the cover 3, I run that drill like 10 times straight, man, until I get gold 5 times in a row. And to my man, 337, I know how to daggone track the ball. I'm just saying, in situations where I feel like I'm at an advantage, I'm just getting mossed by Golden Tate and I got Richard Sherman or something ridiculous like that. That's all I'm saying. I know how to play that game. But to to wrap it all up, man, and again, I really, really appreciate y'all giving me this time. I kind of got out of my flow, so I don't remember exactly what I was going to say, as articulately as I wanted to say it. But man, anytime y'all want me to call in, man, it's nothing, man. I definitely Thursday nights is probably my easiest night as far as work and everything else, man. So I'm down to make it happen, man.
Man, we definitely appreciate the call, and this is a call out to all of you guys, man. I mean, I told you this is what we want the show to be. Y'all can take it over. We'll be the host. We want it to be about the community and what y'all want to talk about. So if any of y'all have a topic that you really want to spend some time on, hit us up on Twitter. Say, hey, man, can I get about 10 minutes tonight? We'll make it happen. We'll let you know according to the schedule. And we'll do that. But I agree with what you're saying wholeheartedly, man. I mean, I'm gonna say this because I was actually getting ready to do a video in regards to this. It might happen tonight. I'm not sure, but NBA Live Synergy is the best rating system on the market right now. That's just my opinion, and I will explain why. But all of these sports titles need that, so you can get those other little intangible things that they don't talk about in Madden. But yeah, Smitty, 30 seconds, man. What you got to add? Smitty. All right, I think Smitty may have dropped off. But anyway, guys, we appreciate it. 10 seconds left. We appreciate you guys tuning in. I can speak on behalf of Smitty and Azul. We appreciate all the calls, all the participation, and we appreciate y'all following the movement, man. We'll be back next week.
Once again, guys, thanks for coming by. And if you want to interact with me live, head on over to Sim Standard Radio every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, along with Smitty and Azure Effect. The call-in number for the show is down in the description. Now, of course, for more content, go ahead and click the link above. And before you go, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. All right, guys. Until next time, lights out.